Hey everybody, and welcome to 3-Star Speaking. Before we get started, here's a joke for good luck. I got a fortune cookie the other day, and it was empty. It was unfortunate. In an effort to promote more meaningful answers and to increase my students' words per utterance, which is the number of words students use each time they speak, I have created a 3-star speaking system. In my conversation class, one of our go-to activities is 3-star speaking. In this activity, 7 students are selected to be student teachers and ask questions to their classmates. In my conversation class, during the first period of each lesson, we prepare answers to 20 questions. The questions are usually on a worksheet like the one you see here. This gives everybody time to see, read, and process each question before they're put on the spot to answer. Now, if this is the first time that you're covering this content, I would suggest some warm-up activities like the ones you see. You could do multiple choice questioning or ranking. Those two really seem to stimulate my students' content knowledge and get them primed and ready to answer the questions. Don't rush your preparation. Only start the activity when you feel students are really prepared and ready to talk. Otherwise, you're going to have a quiet classroom. But when you feel like students are ready, it's time to start. Give your student teachers a clean question page and give your students the evaluation worksheet. Now comes the questioning. On my worksheet, there are 20 questions. With 7 student teachers, that's about 3 questions per person. To ensure that each student meets each teacher at least 3 times, I give each student teacher a different color marker to make their stars with. After their classmates have finished answering, student teachers take a moment to evaluate the answer that was given, and then give a score for the response. And here's how the scoring system works. I have found that a system that scores from 0 to 3 works best because it creates pretty clear guidelines for what constitutes a 0, 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star answer. Unfortunately, sometimes you're going to get 0-star answers, which is a no response. This could mean that students didn't understand the question, students didn't prepare an answer, or students spoke in their first language. Now, this is okay, but we want to avoid giving these. And fortunately, you won't get very many of these. 1-star answers are short, simple, one-word or phrase responses. So for example, if I asked my students, "What's this?" and they answered, "A burger," "burger," "cheeseburger," those would all be 1-star answers. 2-star answers are a little bit better, and they answer the question that is asked in a complete sentence. So it has to use at least the subject and a verb, and the object if it is available. These answers should follow the verb tense that was asked in the question. So if I ask my students, "What is this?" they might answer something like, "Teacher, it is a burger. It is a hamburger. It is a cheeseburger." Simple tense question, present simple tense answer. And finally, 3-star answers. This is an elaborative complete sentence or a complex sentence. The students answer the question that is asked in a complete sentence and then elaborate on what they notice. So they would use the subject or object in question, plus the verb and tense, plus any important details that they see, hear, feel, touch, taste, or generally notice. A 3-star answer might sound something like this. It is a delicious, double bacon cheeseburger with French fries. It is topped with onion rings and honey mustard sauce. It looks fabulous. Now I can definitely imagine what you're thinking. Brian, how long does it take to get this to work in your class? Well, for me, after just a few classes of using this system, all I have to do is rate my students' answers on the spot, and they know that if they have a 1 or 2-star answer, they need to stretch it out. However, when you first introduce this technique, you've got to be sure to spend at least an entire class going over the questions, answers, and follow-ups that will help them build, stretch, and elaborate on their answers. All of this hard work pays off very quickly. Students are urged to improve their answers and add a star to their score. I really love this technique because I can just hold up 0, 1, 2, or 3 fingers until my students stretch out their answer far enough. Not only does this get my students speaking more, it has me speaking less. Instead of prompting and asking follow-up questions of my students, feeding them the language that I want them to speak, which has been a real teaching crutch of mine, I can just keep my lips sealed, hold up my fingers, and let them do the heavy lifting. Now here's a very simple lesson that took me a long time to learn. If I'm talking, if the teacher is talking, students are not. If students are talking, then the teacher is not. Now this idea is simple, but it's very powerful because this increases learner autonomy and it shifts the emphasis of language creation from the teacher to the students. And one final note, I use this technique because I believe in it, and I believe in it because it has worked for me in my classroom. This is by far the simplest and most effective, efficient improvement I have made to speaking instruction since I became a teacher over a decade ago. When students know what you expect and have a rubric to follow, you will be pleasantly surprised with the responses you hear.